Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options to Play video update. Rounded out the week where we saw a surprising pickup in volatility again, right? Kind of a wild finish. Should set up, at least in my opinion, probably some real busy sessions next week at the minimum. I'm not sure how long volatility is going to stick around, but when you have 18, 19 point days and then followed up with like 10, 11 point days. I mean, really kind of like sets the tone for at least for a little while. So imagine next week's going to be busy from overall action point of view. From a scheduled news perspective, though, pretty light. Not a whole lot of earnings on the calendar. We might get unscheduled guidance. Especially as we get closer to July, but in terms of like what's actually on the calendar, not a whole lot this coming week. Um, Monday, it's really actually nothing either before the open or after the close. Tuesday before the open, we have Lennar, which is a home builder. They're priced in at about 6 points. It had been, I'd say, better up until Thursday, and then it broke like this higher base it was forming. But even being off a little bit, it's still a pretty good overall setup. It had come back pretty nicely. Actually, like the home builder sector really kind of staged a pretty good rebound. I haven't traded this group for earnings in a while though, and I guess I think I prefer to wait and see what they say, see how the stock reacts, and then um, kind of approach it from that perspective, more of like a swing idea, less of like an earnings trade idea. Just because I don't really trade these too often, and I think I prefer any money I commit would probably be like longer term perspective. All right. Tuesday after the close is Oracle, and that's by far the biggest name next week. 3.5 points is what's priced in. I was just in a position on this one looking for a breakout, and then it went from like a breakout to then a breakdown. So Thursday's washout stopped me out. I don't know how to approach this now. Last quarter was actually pretty solid, and stock closed up sharply. That was back in the middle of like March. Um, it has been in a real tight range, and it does seem to have the potential for a pent up breakout or a breakdown. But the option pricing doesn't seem that cheap to me, and I think you would have to have like a real clean move higher or a clean move lower to reward any strategy. I guess I'm more on the fence because of like how the market's kind of weakened a bit just over the last couple of days, but I guess I might lean more bullish, but it's really going to depend on how like Monday and even like Tuesday during the day shapes up, whether or not I do something with it. All right. After the close on, oh no, before the open on Wednesday, nothing, and then actually after the close on Wednesday, there's really nothing of interest to me. So Wednesday kind of slow. Thursday before the open is Smith and Wesson. 275 is what's priced in. I feel like gun stocks don't perform well unless there's a bad reason, unfortunately. It has had a huge run over the last couple weeks, and if I go out to like a weekly chart, you'll see that it's trying to turn the corner after just like a real long stretch of underperformance. But also, what you'll notice is that after like these big rallies, at least over like the last 3 to 4 years, it's tended to fizzle and just kind of kept rolling over. So, I mean, I feel like more than anything, like this pop probably presents the opportunity for like a longer term bearish idea. I just don't know if earnings are going to be that much of a catalyst. So it's whether or not you need to take the risk into earnings if that's the type of trade you're looking for. But I do think that like this rally might be something to look into for like a longer term strategy on the downside. Um, oh, whoops! Kroger was before the open on Thursday. I forgot about this one. So this is before the open on Thursday, actually. So 3 points is what's priced in on Kroger. So definitely a stay-at-home play, right? If people like stock up on groceries, it looks really solid right at the top of resistance, hanging above a bunch of its moving averages. To me, it seems set up for higher prices. Um, Numbers probably should be pretty good, and actually, surprisingly, Kroger is a name that actually has a history of moving on earnings pretty substantially too. So I'm thinking bullish on this, especially because it's like not at its 52-week high like some of the other ones, like the WalMarts and the Costco's and the Amazons, right, going into earnings. So it's a little bit off its high, and I feel like it could have room to work more to the upside. All right, now getting back to Friday. So before they open on Friday, you have CarMax. So about 8.5 points is what's priced in on this. So this almost joined Carvana at a 52-week high, just missed, and now it's rolled back down a bit. For some reason, like I just have never been able to really trade this one well. Whether it's earnings or swing trades, I mean, I just can't read it great. I do think though that earnings historically are kind of like a hit or miss from the movement perspective on this one. It's not real consistent. There are some quarters when it has a big move, a lot of quarters when it doesn't. So at 8.5 points, I mean, you obviously would need about a 10% move just to get your money back. And then when you couple that with like the fact that it's not real consistent of a mover, at least over the last couple of years, I think personally that I'm probably going to stay away from it. And then last but not least, Jable. So 325 or so is what they're pricing in on this. I really think this is going to come down to where sentiment in the market is at the time. Meaning, like, if we're still risk off and selling, it's probably going to be kind of tough. If not, if we're rebounding, this one could be like a name set up to maybe like bounce or maybe like more like buy the news. Because the reason I say that is in March, the company actually had a pretty ugly quarter, but it closed green on the day of earnings, even though they missed across the board and guided lower. So I feel like if it keeps getting hit into earnings and expectations get really low, could have kind of like a similar like relief rally. But to me, the option price would probably need to come down because 3.25 that seems pretty high just based off what it typically moves. So I mean, I think anything I do with this would be more of like a game time decision, and it's probably going to revolve around what the market's doing, and also what the option pricing looks like that day. All right. So couple names, couple big names reporting. Should be some action just across the market. I mean, again, when you have these really massive daily moves, just kind of sets up opportunity. So even though not a lot on the calendar, still should be plenty of going on. All right. So if you like these videos and you're looking for more option trade ideas, more earnings trade ideas with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay well, and I will talk to you on Monday.